Mr. H, and today we are going to talk about how to read the names of the notes on the bass clef. So if you play a bass clef instrument, like a trombone or a baritone or a tuba or a bass guitar, or the left hand of a piano, these are all instruments that use the bass clef. Before we talk about the actual note names, we need to know how notes are written. And music is written on a set of lines and spaces called a staff. The staff has 5 lines. We always count from the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And in between the lines are spaces. And there are 4 spaces also counted from the bottom. These are line notes. Sometimes notes are on a line, and you'll see the note is sitting right on top of the line. The line goes in between the notes. And notes that are in between the lines are called spaces. These are all space notes. They're in between the lines. So one of the important things to be able to do is just know whether a note is on a line or a space. So do you think this note is on a line or a space? It's on a line. And the second note, also on a line. This note is on a space. This note here, also on a space. And finally, that is a line note. Once we know whether or not notes are on a line or space, we can start labeling them. And in music, we use just the letters of the alphabet to label notes. We only have to use the first 7 letters of the alphabet: A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. If there's more notes than that, we start over again with A. There's no H's or L's or anything like that. If we wanted to play a scale which has 8 notes in it, it would go like this. If we started on C and we wanted to go in order from C to C, it would go alphabetically C, D, E, F, G, and then it starts over again on A, B, and C. So now we know our musical alphabet, we can start talking about what the actual names of the notes are when you see them in music. This is the bass clef. And the bass clef tells us that the 4th line is an F. That means any note that's written on the 4th line is an F. And for this reason, sometimes it is known as the F clef. Once you know the note F, you can figure out all your other notes by just simply using the alphabet. If the notes go higher, it goes forward in the alphabet. And if they go lower, it just kind of goes backwards. So this is F, E, D, C, B, and A. So just by counting up or down, you can now figure out the name of any note. And after a bit of practice, you just will be able to memorize what they are. Now, we do have a saying to also help you remember, a little bit of a shortcut. So notes on the lines are G, B, D, F, and A. And those are the line notes of the bass clef. And one saying we use is great big dogs fight animals. And if you can remember that, it will be much easier for you to figure out the names of your notes. We also have a saying for the space notes. From the bottom up, it's A, C, E, and G. And the saying for that is all cows eat grass. So that's basically all you need to know to figure out the names of the notes on the lines and spaces of the bass clef. Now, it does take practice to be good at it, but it's not any more complicated than that. So can you name these notes? If we use our saying, this is a line note, and we can just, again, think great big dogs fight animals. So it would be great big, that's a B. And this one is a space note. And our saying for the spaces was all cows eat. So that's going to be an E. Again, this is a line note. And our saying was great big dogs fight animals. So that's a G. And we have another line note. Now we could think about our saying for this, but we could also count from this fourth line. We know that this is an F. And since this is kind of close, it might make sense to just think F, G, A. That note is an A. By the way, we could go back and do the same thing with this E. If we think that this is an F, one note lower than F, backwards in the alphabet would be E. Okay, we have one more note, and this is a space note. And again, thinking about our saying, all cows eat grass, that is going to be a C. Okay, how'd you do on figuring out the names of the notes? As I said, it's not any more complicated than that, but it does take a little bit of practice to get the names of the notes right away. So just go ahead and work at it. Knowing the names of your notes is very important, and it will help you learn songs much faster.